morning guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel for the first time. My name's Elizabeth, and a couple weeks ago I had someone message me on Instagram and say, hey, I saw that you put out a video a few years ago that you dropped out of grad school, all of your reasoning behind it, everything like that, but now that it's been a few years, I was just wondering how you still feel about that. The guy who reached out was actually kind of in a similar situation. He knew he wasn't passionate about grad school, he knew it wouldn't make him happy, he didn't want to do that career forever, and he was just wondering, like, you know, long-term effects of dropping out, what my thoughts were on it, and, you know, if I recommended it. So it kind of gave me a little bit of inspiration, and I decided to take today to film a video about where I am now, kind of the story that led up to me dropping out, just like a short condensed version. I already have one of those long versions up on my channel. I will link it up here. But if you do not want to watch today's full video, I will do you a favor and answer the whole big question right at the start of the video. You don't have to watch the rest if you don't want to. I'm going to go into a lot of detail about this and give reasoning behind it and tips if you're considering dropping out and all of that. I'm not encouraging you to drop out unless it's, you know, good for your situation, but we'll get into that. But long story short, do I regret dropping out of graduate school? The answer is no. If that's all you wanted, I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye. But for those of you who want to stick around, let's get into it. So I was in graduate school. I was in my second semester. I was in a Doctor of Physical Therapy program. I dropped out in October of 2018. I dropped out very randomly. It was not planned at all. My mom passed away and I needed to deal with everything going on with that. So I had actually just, you know, not gone to school, and I didn't plan on never going back, but I just never went back. However, a couple weeks before, I remember crying, just like in tears on my way home from school, just like having a complete meltdown, knowing that I did not want to be a physical therapist. I did not want to be in school. I did not want to do that career path for the rest of my life, and I knew it wouldn't make me happy. I had like a photography side hustle, little business going for, I would probably say like 5 or 6 years by that point. So I was like making money on the side. Photography at the time while I was in school was my only source of income, just because with graduate school you couldn't really work a normal job because of the schedule you had, the studying, how much work it took to put into that. But you know, your girl's gotta have some money, so I would still work weddings on some weekends and everything like that. I will also say that back when I made this decision, just for like a little bit of context for you, once my mom passed away, I moved in with my dad, and I like living with him. I didn't have any bills or anything like that. The only thing I had were my student loans from thus far in grad school, plus all of my undergrad. So like that was a lot, but at the same time I was still in the phase where it like doesn't, where like you don't have to pay. And so you know, I was stressed about that, but that wasn't like something that needed to be taken care of ASAP. And so I didn't really have anything that I needed to be paying for right then. That kind of helps with that. But in reality, if you were in graduate school and you don't have like a full-time job, or you're not like making a lot of money at the moment anyway, like dropping out just gives you more time to work on your career or to do something else to make money. You just have to remember you still have to pay on those loans that you took out while you're in grad school. So I would say one of the biggest things that changed for me and what made this transition work is that me being able to take like the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours I was devoting to being in school and driving to school and studying and putting like all of my time and effort into school, like taking that and just putting it straight to my business or the career that you want to go to, or like whatever, like having all that time dedicated to something that you were so passionate about or something you were so in love with really helps you be able to make that work. You have to put time into things to make it be like successful, and so like just changing the direction of how you are using your time makes a huge difference. I will say that I'm also a very motivated individual, and the idea of like encouraging myself to like market myself and do my website and like do all the things that you need to do to be self-employed, like that wasn't hard for me. Like that is something that I can motivate myself to do. So that's like if you were considering like being in graduate school for a certain career or dropping out to do something that is like self-employment or like following one of your passions or whatever, like to be self-employed, you need to have some discipline. You need to be able to schedule your time out and make things a priority, because no one, like if you're self-employed, you don't have a boss be like, you need to get this done. So like just something to consider. As for do I regret dropping out, there are some days that I will absolutely admit that I feel very discouraged, that like especially with freaking COVID, that like my career, like most days I just sit at home. That's not to say that I'm not like working on like behind the scenes stuff, but like I don't have as many clients as I would like right now because of COVID. It is my slow season. We have almost a foot of snow on the ground outside. No one wants to go outside and take pictures. No one's scheduling weddings right now because they're worried about everything going on with COVID. And so like right now it is very hard being self-employed. But when I think about it, like at this point in time, I still wouldn't have graduated from graduate school. I still wouldn't be working as a physical therapist. I'd have even more student loans. I wouldn't have been making money for the past however many years. So it's like, you know, I still think I'm in a better spot. But like, you know, that's okay. I also get like being able to like not work for someone else is so huge to me, because I can't even express to you how happy it makes me that I can make my own schedule. I can decide what weekends I want to work and which weekends I don't want to work. I can like, you know, go out and do things. I can have flexible hours. I can work from home almost all of the time. You know, I get to edit and listen to music or podcasts or whatever I want, and I don't have to like go into work every day and, you know, interact with people and chart things and do exercises and, you know, all of that. I will say sometimes I do like miss, like I wish that I could like, you know, go back and be like, what did I really want to be? Someone who does like autopsies, or like a surgical assistant or something like that, just because like I enjoy like medical things. Like our gross anatomy lab where we like dissected a cadaver was like one of the coolest things I've ever done, and like I loved that, and I think it'd be so cool to like work in that field. But like I don't like going into a job every day. I don't like working for someone else. I think that I'm a good enough boss as it is. Like I can get things done, and why would I want to work for someone else? I will say that one of the things that I do miss about you know, working in a PT environment, because I did like before getting into grad school, I worked as a therapy tech, and so like I worked around PTs, OTs, and speech therapists all day. And the one thing I do really miss about like going into an actual job is having coworkers, to talk to people, to be like social. I sit here with my dog all day and that's kind of it, but like it's okay, I guess. I always joke and tell David that if I ever get bored enough, I'd go like get a job, like I don't know, like a greeter at Walmart or something, just so I can like talk to people, because I get very lonely just like sitting in my computer and doing work. But you know, not everyone is in my situation where they would be dropping out of um, a program to get a degree in doctorate of physical therapy and drop out to be a photographer. So I understand that I'm in a unique situation. Bottom line is I just decided that I didn't want to continue with a career that I didn't absolutely love, that would leave me further into debt. Yes, I know that PTs make a lot of money, but newsflash, so do photographers. Most people who click on this video, or who, I won't say click on this video because I have a lot of very loyal subscribers who watch every single one of my videos, even though my videos are kind of all over the place with topics right now. But most people who would search this video and just click on it might be considering dropping out of grad school or, you know, college, and they just want some advice, or you know, just trying to think about if they should do it, if they should not do it. And so one of the things that I do want to do with this video is to bring up some points and ask you some questions and just let you know things that you consider. So I wrote some down here. I'm trying to be good and keep a little plan to my videos. So if you are considering dropping out of graduate school, I have some questions for you. Number one, do you have a legit backup plan? Not just something that you would like to do, and once you drop out you would start doing research and then think like, okay, well I don't actually think I want to do that. Like I'm talking like legit, like it's already in plan, in action. You're not just dropping out and then doing nothing. You have something that like you're passionate about, because there's like, it would be awful if you like, okay, well I don't really like graduate school, so I'm going to drop out and then I'm going to try this because I think that would be more fun, and then you start doing research on it after you've already dropped out of grad school and you're like, that's not what I thought it was. It wouldn't be as fun. I don't think I'd be as passionate about it. And then you're kind of screwed because you lost your spot in grad school and you don't have, hi Finn, come on. My sweet baby will cry if I don't love on him. My second would be, what is your like living situation that you're in, or your life situation right now? Like if you are almost done with grad school, obviously don't drop out. It's one thing being in like your second semester of like 9, but it's another thing if you're like in semester 7 or 8 and you're like almost there. And also I would say, like, if you are in graduate school for like, I don't know, I'm pulling like a hypothetical situation, like you're in graduate school and you're like have a family and stuff to support, and you really like need, I don't know, because I value happiness over money, if I'm being honest with you. But like if you feel like you're in a situation where you like need the salary of a PT to be happy, and that you could tolerate the career, I don't know, I don't know if I like saying that or not, but you know, you do make a lot more money as a PT than you do like working at Walmart or, you know, just like end-to-end jobs. So just consider that, I guess. I don't know. My next question is, would you consider going to school for something else that you would be more passionate about, or would you just drop out and do your own thing? The reason I ask is because you already have a lot of debt from like your education thus far, I'm assuming, if you're like me. And if you go to like another program or something, like I looked into a bunch of other stuff when I dropped out, and they were like, oh yeah, you need a whole different 4-year degree, and then you need to go and do like this. I'm like, well, everything would be wasted thus far, and I don't like the idea of that. Like honestly, right now it's all wasted, but oh well. But like spending even more time, like you just have to think, like, would it be more cost and time effective for you to like just switch careers and go to something else in your like with education wise and still be in school, or like, you know, you just have to think about like, oh yeah, like if I dropped out of this, like would I want to go like this? You know, I don't know. You also have to think, is your alternative career path something that, number one, will make you happy, number two, you'll make enough money to live comfortably and pay off all of your loans that you've gotten thus far. If you have loans, big assumption here is that I'm assuming you need to take loans, but like you need to, like, no matter how happy your job makes you, like if you are stressed money wise, like long term, it like that kind of destroys your happiness, and that's not a fun place to be or to live in. So you just have to consider that. Also, another thing is, like, you could, if I wanted to, I could have made, and I probably would have if my situation had been different, but I would have gone through grad school, graduated, worked as a PT, and then done photography on the side. And that would have been like, you know, the best of both worlds for a lot of people. Probably not me, but you know, it would still be doing something that's like considered a real job, and then something that is like my passion, you know? So like you get balance. And then another question you need to ask is, will this truly make you happy, or will it just make you temporarily satisfied? You never want to make big life decisions like based on like one tiny little inconvenience. Like you just decide you don't like, you know, this or this, and you're like, I need to just drastically alter my life right now. You need to think about things a little bit more, and think about what will make you long-term happy versus just temporarily satisfied. And then my list of things not to consider. I know there are a lot of things you need to consider with, you know, dropping out or changing your career path, but there are a lot of things that you don't need to consider. Number one, biggest one, you do not need to consider what anyone else says or their opinions on it, anything like that, unless they are your spouse or, nope, can't think of anyone else. You don't really need their opinions. I can't tell you how many times people told me that I was making the biggest mistake of my life when I dropped out. I can't tell you how many people tried to give me advice. We went to go buy our house, and I saw something about like a PT something on a wall, and I made a comment. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to be in grad school for that. And the guy was like, oh, so when are you going back? And I was like, I'm not. I'm a full-time photographer, and I love it. And he was like, well, one day you'll go back to grad school. You'll have to. I'm like, nope, No, I won't. Sorry. Everyone's gonna give you opinions and say what they think. It's amazing that, you know, it's amazing that people can be just so rude and upfront about it, and a lot of people don't even realize that they're doing it, but don't listen to them. If you know in your heart that it's the best decision for you, then it's the best decision to you. You don't need to listen to people saying like you're gonna regret that for the rest of your life. That'd be the worst mistake you've ever made. That's gonna set you back so many years. Like, it might be the very best decision you've ever made, and you got to prove them wrong and show them. So that is my advice today. That is how I feel about dropping out of grad school almost 3 years later. I will say that I don't regret anything. I'm glad that it's worked out the way it has thus far. If you are considering dropping out and you feel like you have more questions, you can leave them in the comments down below. I check comments every day. You can also message me on Instagram. I don't always get back to people as fast on there, because like when people message me and I don't follow them, it goes into like a requests folder and I don't always check that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate all of your support and stuff on here. Once I dropped out of grad school, I really started like taking my YouTube channel really seriously, and I appreciate that like you guys have been here to like support me through all of it. So yeah, but that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!